Hi everyone, I'm Sydney with Ignite Studio. Today I'm going to be going over how to use our alcohol marker kit that you can find in our kit library. First I'll go over everything that's inside the kit. You'll be getting 96-piece alcohol marker set from Dick Blick. You can see that these markers are a lot like the Prismacolor alcohol markers. They've got a big thick chisel tip for one side and a thin fine liner on the other for your detail work. You'll also be getting a swatch list of all of the different colors of markers inside the kit, some sketching supplies to help you get started on your illustration, a folder of mixed media paper, and a fine liner or a black marker to help you line your work afterwards. You'll also find this book about alcohol markers inside of it. There's a lot of good inspiration and techniques inside here, so I definitely recommend giving this book a look through after you're done watching this video. You might start by wondering why use alcohol markers instead of water-based markers. Water-based markers like Crayola are super great for kids because the pigment is suspended in water, so it's easy cleanup. Alcohol markers, however, have their pigment suspended in alcohol. So once you layer them on top of each other, the alcohol really helps get a really opaque, even layer of color. You can see here that because the Crayolas are water-based, that there's some streakiness, some smearing, areas where the pigment isn't sitting evenly. Alcohol really helps eliminate all of that problem. You can see on smearing here too, because the water takes longer to evaporate than the alcohol does, there can be some issues if you're not super careful about where you're working. However, if you use alcohol markers and immediately go over it, there's no smearing at all because that alcohol has all evaporated. There's 96 colors in this set with warm and cool tones and a whole selection of gray gradients as well. The gray gradients are super important because you can't mix colors with these markers. The finished illustrations look a lot like watercolor paintings. However, unlike watercolor paints, you can't mix your colors. So having a wide variety of colors is super important. And having a wide variety of grays to do your shading with so that you get good contrast in your illustration is also really important. You can see here a swatch list of all of the different grays that are inside the kit. There's a selection of cool grays from 10% pigmentation to 90% pigmentation, and the same thing for warm grays as well. There's also a selection of basic grays that don't have a tone to them and blacks as well. Here you can see the difference between a warm gray and a cool gray. So this warm gray is based in the warm side of the color wheel, so it's really kind of more brown, maybe has some purpley tones to it, whereas this cool gray is based on the cool side of the color spectrum. So its color is a lot more steely, kind of blue a little bit. So you just want to keep what types of grays that you want to use in mind while you're planning your illustration out. If you have a warm light source, you'll want to use cool grays for your shadows and vice versa as well. Planning out the colors and the gradations you want to use in your illustration is the best way to move forward. Since you can't mix your colors, you can layer them to get some color variation. You always want to work from light to dark in alcohol markers. You can see here that this dark color has really kind of swallowed up this little really delicate light pink. You can also see that layering colors sometimes gets different tones. Layering this yellow on top of this green has created kind of a greenish yellow and some interesting effects for it as well. Now I'll show you how to get started with illustration with alcohol markers. I'm just going to use my cool grays to shade just a simple shape, a sphere, so you can understand how it works a little bit. For alcohol markers, I like to use a variation of hatching and cross-hatching to get the color laid down. Hatching is when you go in lines straight across like this, and cross-hatching is just when you go across the other way. So that's the easiest way to lay down colors to get a really deep, opaque color. So I started with my 20% cool gray to outline just a shape here. If I was doing a full illustration, I would just use the sketching pencils that are in it to get an outline. And I want to decide on a light source too, so I'll just draw a little sun there so I can keep that in mind. Since there's no white in the kit, I want to leave the white of the paper as the highlights of my sphere. Since the light is coming from this direction, I know that the lightest parts are going to be right here, so I'll just go ahead and mark that out so that I don't accidentally color it in. And I'm going to do the reverse on the sphere. Spheres have some kickback of light on the back side of them, so I'm just going to mark that out just so I don't color it in for now. And then using the broad tip, I'm just going to start hatching my color in, starting with the 20% gray, and then I'm just going to work my way down. It looks like the next color I've got is 40, so I'll use my 40% gray and just work from there. Now I'll go back in and I'll just deepen up that back shadow a little bit. Maybe this cool gray 60%, I'm thinking. Just go over that so that's a little bit darker. And there you go, that's a sphere. All right, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope it inspires you to come down and check out our alcohol marker kit. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask a staff member or check out the videos that are on the QR codes on top of your kit. There's a lot more references and resources there, and definitely look at the book as well. Well, I hope we'll see you soon at Ignite Studio, and thanks for watching.